stop day. I'm afraid.
Why don't you play us something, baby? Why don't you play us some? Why don't you play us something, baby?
Start? I don't feel so good.
It's fucking molten!
Hey gang, welcome to the Movie Epidemic podcast. I'm going to be your host today, Chadley J. at Chadley. I almost said Buck Hollywood LeDuc. Not quite right.
No, that's my name.
No, that is your name.
Buck Brutalist LeDuc. That's my new name.
Buck New Brute, dude.
Welcome to the new Brutal Mutants.
Brutal Mutants. You know what's fun? You know what's fun about this episode, though?
What's that?
It's Christmas.
Oh, it is
So
Christmas.
this
Jingle
is,
jangle, my friends.
Jingle jangle. So this one is for all the people who are like, well, I got to drive all the way home to fucking Connecticut
Yeah,
for
it's
Christmas
weird
Eve.
that you're not wearing your Santa hat or anything. You've got what's clearly some sort of Cabela's hat. It looks like you just got finished working a shift at Cabela's, selling rifles. You look like you looks like you can't stop selling rifles.
I did skin a deer the other week. Did I tell you that?
No.
Yeah. Somebody I knew hit a deer on the side of the road, so me and a few people went out and got it.
Ugh.
And we skinned it.
Yummy. Charlie's eating fucking rotten venison right now.
That's it. Yeah, I am absolutely eating rotten venison. Hey, Podcast Spot 5000. Hey, buddy.
What's up?
Hey, man. Do you want to talk about some movies
Merry
with us?
Christmas.
Do you want to be the second?
Fuck the liberals.
Okay.
We can say Merry Christmas on this show. Podcast Spot, settle down with that stuff.
Yeah, you know, I don't
It's
think
weird how into Trump Podcast Spot is these days.
we say Merry Christmas every year, despite the fact that you don't celebrate Christmas. You're Jewish, so. But,
They're my people.
yeah, exactly. So you celebrate Hanukkah, I celebrate Christmas, but we don't really talk about the Hanukkah thing. But we do talk about Christmas every year, and nobody's ever complained. So Podcast Spot 5000, if you could.
I'm just a little dreidel
settle
boy.
the fuck button. Yeah, little dreidel boy. Hey, Podcast Spot 5000.
Yeah, the Christmas episode. Luckily this year, Netflix and all these streaming services are certainly putting out a lot of content.
They're hooking us up, yeah. So
Absolutely
we don't,
hooking it up.
Yeah, so we didn't have to go and pay to see that shitty. What's that?
Is there a Christmas movie in theaters?
Yeah. Apparently, it was pretty popular. Amelia Clark, Last Christmas. That's what it's called. Yeah. So we didn't have to go and pay for that. We will never see it. So if you're waiting for the Last Christmas review, don't worry. You're never getting it.
You never know. I might feel a little weird and be like, "You're watching Last Christmas in July for some reason."
Perfect.
So you'll be watching Netflix originals Klaus.
Klaus. Please say the real title. Say it correct.
And Rob Lowe's Christmas classic Holiday in the Wild.
Yeah, that one's good. Rob Lowe, Kristen Davis, really giving her.
You'll also be watching from Disney Plus's illustrious lineup. Anna Kendrick and Noelle.
Noelle, yeah, one of the two original films Disney Plus has given us. So thank you for all two of those films and a bunch of shit I've already seen Disney Plus. That's awesome. So we're going to be talking about all that. Before we get to that, I know that you're not only Jewish, so you don't celebrate Christmas, but you're also a communist and you hate capitalism. But
that's
true. I got you a Christmas present anyways.
Oh, wow.
So here you go, my man. I'm going to let you open this right here on
All
pod.
right, we're opening this on pod.
so
Come on over to the YouTube
I want
channel.
to explain it first real quick is that I go to your apartment a lot. I see what's going on in your apartment. I see you got a lot of movie posters, but you don't have a lot of like real good art, you know, something that's really going to expand your mind, you know, culturally. It's really going to make you feel, you know, like it's going to challenge you every time you look at it.
Right.
So I've gotten you this beautiful piece of high art.
Oh, it's a McClunky poster.
It is in fact a McClunky poster. There you go. That's for all the viewers.
And as we know on the Movie Epidemic is a supporter of McClunky. McClunky is good.
Yeah, McClunky is good. I thought you might enjoy
Wow,
that.
you went to our actual print shop and made this.
Yeah,
huh?
I had to order it. So because I custom made, like I put the text on there. This is just a picture of Greedo.
You did.
Yeah. It's like a shitty Fallout font, so enjoy that. But I had to order it, and the best part about it is that when I went to the print shop to pick it up, I had to look this lady in the eye as she was clearly like judging me and had no idea what the fuck this was. And I was laughing and she was not laughing.
You're like, hey, I'm here to pick up my McClunky.
Well, no, the problem is when I went in there, it was very clearly on the back counter for all to see. And I was like, oh, I'm here for that.
We have a long history of making custom posters for our friends. And
Yeah,
this is, I
absolutely.
think, a great addition to
Yes,
that
to the
long
custom
that
poster.
long history of making custom posters for each other.
McClunky. But I literally I ordered that on the weekend, and I was like, shit, we're doing the podcast. We're recording this on Tuesday. I was like, shit, we're doing the podcast on Tuesday, and I don't think it's gonna get here in time because I know you're going out of town like tomorrow.
Yeah,
And I got the call last night.
Right.
I got the call last night, and I literally, my buddy was waiting for me at the movie theater. He's like, "We going to see this movie?" I'm like, "I'm gonna be late. I have to pick this up." Right?
McClunky.
McClunky. So, what do we want to dive into first on this beloved holiday episode?
I don't know. Is Podcast Bot going to sing or anything?
I don't know. Hey, Podcast Bot 5000. Are you gonna sing, my buddy?
He seems like he's not here. I
He's
don't know
not
where he
here. He's not around. Hey, Podcast Bot 8000. Hello, boys.
went. Oh, damn. I thought we were going to get away without this year.
It's me, Podcast Bot 8000, and today for Christmas, I've got a special gift for you.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
It's a gift. It is a gift. I'm going to be singing you the 12 Days of Christmas, but I don't have the words in front of me.
Oh,
So
perfect.
I'm just gonna go until I forget what they are,
Right.
and then it's gonna be done. So that's as good as it
All
gets,
right.
boys.
So you guys can just skip ahead 7 minutes because this is going to take so long.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree.
Uh-huh.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves. Yeah, there it is. And then the other one. On the third day of Christmas, my true love, Podcast Bot 5000, gave to me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any further.
All right. I guess that's where that ends.
I have no further. I don't remember what the 3 things is. 3 French dens. I don't remember.
Three French whores.
I love banging whores. All right, thank you, Podcast Spot 8000. That was maybe one of your worst Christmas songs yet.
Yeah,
so
that
thank you.
was terrible.
That was absolutely awful, and I'm sorry you guys had
So
to
many people turned it off.
appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people turned it off, as they should. So what do we want to talk about first on this beloved Christmas episode? This is a tradition to do this Christmas episode.
Absolutely.
People do love it.
Do they? It's usually the least downloaded of the year because theme episodes don't work.
Well, I think people are gonna tune in just to hear us talk about Noelle. What do we want to talk about first?
Why don't we start with Rob Lowe?
All right, let's talk about Rob Lowe, Holiday in the Wild. So I got a few questions about Holiday in
Sure.
the Wild. First question is, what the fuck?
I don't know. I was so checked
What?
out while I was watching this. AEW Dynamite was on, so I'm like, I'll watch this a little bit.
Oh man,
Fucking Chris Jericho, his new character is he's a drunk dad. So
Yeah.
he comes out and he's like, let's pop some of the bubbly. And he's like drunk on champagne.
this is one of those movies that's kind of like It's a Wonderful Life, where it's like it's marketed as a Christmas movie, but not much Christmas.
Not much
It's
Christmas.
Not a lot of Christmas stuff going on. That being said, It's a Wonderful Life is good, and this movie is not good. In fact, Holiday in the Wild might be one of the worst things we've seen this year, and I was pretty close. I felt bad. I was literally at my mother-in-law's house, and she was like, it was 7 a.m, and she was like eating breakfast, and I was sitting in her living room just fuming watching this piece of shit.
Damn, this guy can't stop watching movies at 7 a.m.
Yeah, I'm always up at 7 a.m. to watch it. It's my job. It's my job to watch movies. Got to get up early so that I can spend the rest of the day just, jerking off or doing whatever it is I do during the day, right?
Yeah. Usually like procrastinating on watching the next movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then you wake up at 7 a.m. and have to watch it in a fucking hustle.
Yeah, absolutely. I did watch Noelle at 6:30 in the morning this morning. That is absolutely true. So Holiday in the Wild is a movie where Kristen Davis is
Sure, that's a person.
Kristen Davis of Sex and the City fame. You guys remember her. I think she was in some movies. She's bad and everything. Don't worry about it. So what happens is that she has the perfect rich family in New York, and then her
So white.
super white. Her husband's an undescript businessman.
Yeah, well,
they
that's-
just say business.
That section doesn't matter. He's just a workaholic businessman.
And sometimes he'll just be like, it's getting pretty crazy at the firm, and it's like, what do you do?
He's busy at the firm.
Yeah, he's
Matt Damon in the firm.
he's extremely big. Isn't that Harrison Ford in the firm?
No, you know who it is? It's Leonardo DiCaprio in the firm.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is Leonardo DiCaprio in the firm.
Wait, no, it's Matt Damon. No, I don't know.
But no, I think I think it's Harrison Ford. I'm pretty
The
sure.
firm. I think he is it, but there's like a younger star.
Maybe I'm thinking of some other movie. Maybe I'm thinking Presumed Innocent. Maybe I'm getting them mixed up. Anyways, so he's looking up the firm here.
Tom
real quick.
Cruise!
It's Tom Cruise. Oh, you're right. It is Tom Cruise. Shit. Son of
Tom
a bitch.
Cruise and Gene Hackman.
So her shitty husband, who, by the way, looks way too much like Rob Lowe, is going to the firm and doing business stuff.
Yeah,
and
to the point where you thought that Rob Lowe played.
I thought it was him. I was like, we're really just getting this. I thought this was gonna be like a romance movie.
Yeah,
I'm really getting off the bat here. And so Kristen Davis sends her kid off to college, and literally 3 minutes after they send their kid off to college, the husband's like, "Yeah, we're getting a divorce." Okay.
that's what you got. That's what you do. You got to wait till you send the kids away.
What I do appreciate about that is that it really moves through the conflict quickly.
Yeah.
It really explains why
Absolutely. That's the
used
climax of the film.
Yeah.
30 seconds in.
Yeah, 30 seconds in. It really explains how she used to have a family and now has nobody. Perfect. So she decides that she's going to go by herself to Africa.
Sure, because they were going on their
second honeymoon, and
honeymoon.
he bailed. Good for him.
Also, like, if you're like going to Africa, I would also be like, I think we have to get divorced.
Yeah, I think I'm all good. I was thinking about this the other day. It's like when it comes to traveling, there's a lot of places I want to go. I just have no interest in going to Africa.
It's your desire,
yeah. I feel like there's nothing there for me, and that's fine.
I've seen animals, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. They're in zoos. They're angry and sad when in zoos, but they're there.
McClunky.
And McClunky. So the other day I was just playing on our TV in our house, just the YouTube video of Greedo saying McClunky for 4 straight minutes. Fallon was pissed, dude. She was not happy about it.
Good.
Yeah. But anyway, so she goes to Africa. And she goes to go on this excursion, and who's the excursion leader? Handsome lad himself, handsome 65-year-old Rob Lowe.
God, he's looking like his face is melting now these days.
Well, he was 50 at the ends of Parks and Rec, and that was like 15 years ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
He's had a lot of work done on his face, and now it's starting to melt.
Yeah.
So like sections are still tight, but most of it's melting.
Yeah, he looks like a candle you've used 3 times.
He looks like when the Wicked Witch gets water on her.
Mm-hmm. And the problem, here's the problem, is that Rob Lowe isn't like a great actor, but he's
competent.
He's competent. He's perfectly fine. Kristen Davis is not. Kristen Davis is so bad, but
TV actress.
But Rob Lowe doesn't give a shit about this movie.
No, clearly not.
Clearly
His
not.
eyes were like we make this joke a lot that actors are working with their eyes closed, but there was a few times where he just had his eyes closed. I'm like, is that an acting choice? No, he's sleeping.
No, he fucking fell asleep on set and they just used the take.
This is like one thing that I think is hilarious about Netflix is they just stole this business model from the Hallmark Channel, and they're like, let's just crank out a bunch of shitty holiday movies.
Yeah, right? It is just a Hallmark movie, right? That's
right.
That is what I hate about this movie, because I'm not even shitting you. I think it must have been 3 minutes in, I called the entire rest of the movie 3 minutes into this movie, because it's so shittily written,
right?
So
predictable. But there is a market for these movies, so that's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. There are people who will, and it's Hallmark.
That's why Hallmark spends all year making 32 Christmas movies so they can have one every day.
Yeah, and that is sort of the weird thing about Hallmark movies, is because they're so micro budgeted, like they cost like $200,000, but that's because there's no way they can be successful. Because where do you put it? You put it on the Hallmark Channel? Mm-hmm. How many people are realistically watching the Hallmark Channel?
A lot. Moms, dude. Everyone, that's how they make their business.
But my point is, if you could not watch the Hallmark Channel and just log on to Netflix.
Yeah, well, that's the point. That's what Netflix is doing. They're like,
yeah, they're fucking Hallmark.
There's some moms that still watch Hallmark Channel exclusively, my mom included,
yeah,
during the holidays, where she just watches these 32 of these shitty Christmas movies because they play 2 on Christmas.
And they're all 81 minutes.
One every other day.
So anyway, yes, you're right. Like, the structure here is so general, and I've seen it a million different times, but the problem is that Hallmark doesn't have money, and Netflix also doesn't have money, but they're spending money.
Yeah,
and
that's the fun thing about Netflix.
Yeah, they don't have the money, but they unlike Hallmark, they are spending it. Yes. And so, like, this movie does have like a decent budget, and like some of the shots are competent, I guess. But they obviously spent all their money getting Kristen Davis and Rob Lowe.
I'm not necessarily sure they actually went to Africa, though. It seems like they might be on some sort of...
It's a stage, yeah.
Some sort of wildlife reserve in northern...
Carolina, something like that.
Northern California, probably.
I can't say for sure, but probably. So then when they're flying, she's going on this excursion. Rob Lowe is like the pilot.
Because of course he is.
Because of course he is. They find like an injured elephant, and it turns out that in his off time, Rob Lowe works for an organization that rescues and rehabilitates orphaned elephants.
Great.
Okay, this is when the movie gets so fucking bad. This is when it gets so bad. And I've heard people make the argument that this is the best part of the movie. This is by far the worst part of the movie.
Oh, dude, the baby elephant is the baby Jesus. Though.
No, yes, of course. But like the problem is that it's so manipulative.
Well,
it looks you directly in the eye.
Do you understand what kind of genre you're at here? You're doing shitty romantic comedy holiday movie made for fucking $30.
Yeah, and
that's what this is. That's what this brand of entertainment is.
Which
is why I can't really rate it as a thing, because it's not a movie. It's a specific type of piece of propaganda that fucking moms like.
And so essentially what happens is that you take these characters that aren't interesting or redeemable and you put them in a charitable situation to make them seem like they're people.
I'm definitely going to put this on for my mom when I go home for Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, she'll love it, dude. I know your mom. She'll love this.
Yeah, dude.
And so it's just kind of weird because the movie then at that point, even though like at the beginning with the whole plot with the husband and whatever, like it feels like it's trying to do something at least. This is when they give up trying to do something, and they just look at the camera and they just go, please donate to elephant conservation.
Right. But also there's like the like she's been a stay-at-home mom for this whole time or some shit. But at one point she was a vet, very conveniently, and she's like, "Well, I've worked on cats and dogs before. I can work on this elephant."
And then they're like, "That's your credentials. Check out."
And they're like, well, it's Africa. There's no other doctors, so.
Yeah. and then later in the movie, she goes back to New York, and they're like, "What's your experience on cats and dogs?" And she's like, "Not much, but
I have worked on elephants, and they are basically the same."
So that means because okay, so obviously no one proofread this script, but because she said that later, she's like, "Not much experience on cats and dogs." That means that earlier when she said she was lying. she was lying and for no reason, just to get on the so. She's supposed to be here for like 3 days. She ends up spending like several months at this elephant orphanage. I think they called it, which I don't know if that's the word, but we're going to let that slide.
Probably sanctuary.
Yeah,
but
we're going to let that slide for now.
But it was like a sanctuary for orphaned elephants. Yeah.
And so
I get what they were going for.
The problem is that as soon as this happens, she becomes so happy with her life that she's like, oh, she's making a difference. She's working with elephants that there's no conflict. Like from the 20-minute mark, it's like there's nothing happens after that.
And like at some point, her son comes to Africa, and he's like, "Where the fuck have you been?" and he's like, "I'm at college, so it doesn't matter." But where the fuck have you been?
Yeah, and then they try and introduce like this weird conflict.
He's like, "You're paying my rent, and I haven't seen any money in a long time."
Yeah. Then they try to introduce a conflict where he's like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna drop out of college," and she's like, "That's tight."
Oh, right, that's what that was.
That's cool. Yeah, you can drop out of college.
Yeah,
no problem. So
she's like, "I'm following my dreams, so you should follow your dreams of being a shitty musician, you piece of shit."
Yeah, absolutely. And then she's like, "We're gonna get you." At one point,
I'm surprised I can remember so much about this movie that made zero imprint on me.
Dude, I remember a lot about
basic.
it. Yeah, I remember a lot about it because I remember just being furious, dude. This was like I remember this movie so vividly because I can vividly remember the sting of winter cold on my face with half my leg off the balcony ledge, dude.
It's great visual.
Yeah, absolutely. And so eventually, and I know this goes without saying because it's dumbass Hallmark bullshit, but of course there's a love story between Kristen Davis and Rob Lowe. But let me tell you something about that. Completely inconsequential.
They don't even end up together.
Yeah, they do. They get up married at the end of the movie.
Do they?
Yeah, they.
I must have been deep into sleeping at that point.
You must have been smashing that snooze button on your alarm clock watching this movie. There's like this weird romance plot, but here's why the romance plot sucks. Because Rob Lowe is clearly already fucking this other girl, but they never say it aloud. But she's always like coming around and showing up at weird points. And there's like one point, the first time you ever see this girl, she catches Rob Lowe kissing Kristen Davis, and she comes in and she looks really sad. And I'm like, what's this now? who is this? What is the?
You're just gonna drop a new character on me?
Yeah, you're gonna drop a new character on me, and then they don't explain this character at all. She talks to Rob Lowe for like a second after that, and then he was like, "What are we even doing here?" And I'm like, "That's a question. That's a question without an answer."
Please answer it for me, because this is a movie. I'm not just. I'm sorry. Is this a John Cassavetes picture where I don't know what anyone's talking about? And he doesn't give a shit?
Do you think that I'm Rob Lowe's family member and I understand his social circles beforehand? Because I don't. Is this a sequel to some movie? Because it makes no sense.
I don't think so.
But
it could be, because Netflix releases like 1,500 of those Christmas Prince movies.
But then the wackiest thing happens. Okay, so they don't explain who this blonde lady is.
Yeah.
And then later on in the movie, Rob Lowe apparently is like a painter or something in this movie.
He does a lot of things.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's like
Flies
a painter.
a plane.
And one day the blonde girl comes in and she takes off a canvas and she sees that he's painting a picture of the Kristen Davis character.
Oh damn, dude.
Oh damn! And now she's pissed. And now she turns to Rob Lowe. Still, I don't know who this person is. This blonde-headed lady. We're 20 minutes to the end of the movie. Which, by the way,
we're also 20 minutes into this episode, which is insane.
Yeah, but by the way, this movie's 81 minutes. Feels 8 hours.
Dude, we could probably
long.
talk about the movie longer than it actually is, because it's so wild. Dude.
Yeah, it's really buck. So then this blonde lady, who again, no fucking clue who she is. She turns to Rob Lowe and she's like, "Come back to Cape Town with me. We're gonna get married. Yada yada yada. And if you don't, the board is going to cut your funding."
Chappie's gonna cut your funding.
Okay, so she's some sort of board lady, I guess. And apparently there's some kind of board that funds this, which makes sense to me.
Right.
But she never mentioned once.
But then they do cut the funding.
Yeah, then they do cut the funding.
And then, this is like one of the craziest parts in the entire movie, because at this point, Kristen Davis is back in New York working at a veterinarian clinic on cats and dogs, which she's never seen before.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "I know a lot of rich people. We can just fund this elephant sanctuary." And she makes so much money that Rob Lowe's like, "This is enough to keep us running for 7 years."
Yeah, she exploits all of her rich friends.
What? How much money could you have possibly raised? You think it doesn't cost like a few million a year to run an elephant sanctuary?
My favorite part about it is that they do show you the check that her ex-husband writes for this conservatory, which, by the way, if my ex-wife was like, "Hey, I want some money so that I can go fuck an elephant guy forever," I don't think I would say yes. I don't think I would say yes.
Yeah, but you're a bad person.
But they also show him writing the check, and he writes her a check for $110,000. Huh?
It's 110, man.
Fuck yeah.
What a weird number.
Yeah, it is a weird number. And in fact, you know what? It's not. It's 109. It's even weirder. It's 109. It's not even. It's $109,000, and he gives her this money, and I'm like, that's a weird amount of money to just shit away on your ex-wife for no reason. Like, that must have been.
Well, that's only an insane amount of money because he's so poverty.
Yeah,
you're so poverty.
Yeah, that's true. But like to just piss away. I don't know what. Again, what is the firm? That's my big question. That is my biggest pet peeve about this movie. What is the firm?
That's a big one.
Yeah. And so everything in this movie is just so convenient and fluffy. And we haven't even mentioned the most important part about this movie.
What's that?
Is that it's Christmas shit, but for no reason.
Yeah, well, it takes place during Christmas.
It takes place during Christmas, but for no reason.
Well, then it's like 3 months, so it's like not Christmas anymore.
Yeah, and so like there's a part where she orders like a Frappuccino machine for Christmas, and her kid comes down for Christmas, and then there's Christmas lights everywhere, but nobody really does anything. Oh, and then they bake
well, basically it's not Christmas.
Yeah. It's sickening Netflix marketing bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But they bake cookies, and then they bake like a Rob Lowe and Kristen Davis cookie, and they're holding hands.
Oh
dude,
my god, dude. Are we really going to talk about this for another 5 minutes?
This movie is no, absolutely not. I think I'm done with this. This movie is absolute, some of the bottom of the barrel, piss poor, absolute bullshit. No artistic integrity went into this in any way.
Do you see that we're at 24 and a half minutes?
Yep, there we are.
Half star for this bullshit.
Absolutely a half star. And then at the very end of the movie, the credits start, but before the credits come up, over 620,000.
Oh, right.
Poaching. Elephants have been poached. Elephants have been poached in North Africa. Do you think Kristen Davis gives a
Dude,
fuck
they
about
end this
that?
with a fucking conservation black screen. I was like, oh no.
They might as I think I didn't watch long enough because I got pissed off as soon as I started seeing it. But like there might as well have been like a donate website on the bottom, like a PayPal option or something.
Yes,
dude.
possibly.
Fuck this, dude. I don't think. I don't believe Netflix would realistically want this to be done. It just they must have known the demographic and been like, we don't care anymore. Just make something for those.
They don't make movies for everyone. They make a lot of stuff that's something everyone can like.
Yeah, absolutely. They have a wide variety, and we'll talk about why that's kind of a good thing later on when we talk about another movie. What do you want to talk? We want to go into Klaus?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. This is also a Netflix original Christmas movie. I really like this one though. I think this one's real good.
Bring back classic animation, people.
Yeah. You don't like the animation in this movie?
No, I do.
Oh,
That's what
you
I'm
do.
saying.
Oh, you do. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yes. This movie's great. Honestly, I think as far as I don't expect to see.
If you didn't like Joker, you can't like Claus. You can't like a gritty Santa Claus origin story if you don't like the Joker.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just Santa Claus looking in the mirror going. Oh man, but I actually really like this movie. So what this movie is about, it's like an origin story for Santa Claus, and essentially what happens is that this mailman goes to like this desolate town, and he's told that he needs to have over 6,000 letters sent. And also, I don't know if that's how you judge like the performance of a mailman based on how many letters people sent. But
well,
whatever.
it was a punishment because he's a bad kid.
Oh yeah, because he was a shitty kid, played by Jason Schwartzman, who we love.
Absolutely, we love.
Absolutely. God bless you, Jason
Amazing
Schwartzman.
cast.
Yeah, I'm glad he's making money. Yeah, cast is great. Rashida Jones is also really good. J.K. Simmons is great. And is it Joan Cusack in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Joan Cusack. I heard it, and I was like, I'm not going to look it up, but I think it is.
You would know that voice anywhere,
Yeah,
Chadley.
absolutely, I would. And so this guy, he has to get 6,000 letters mailed. And so he creates the idea of Santa Claus almost as like a manipulation to trick kids into
Sending a lot of letters.
Then he meets this man in the woods who builds toys, and then with the letters that are sent, they start delivering toys so that more kids will send letters, yada, yada, yada. So this movie is about relationships, which I thought was very weird. Like very, very surprising, I would say. But this movie only works because the relationship between the mailman and Santa Claus is really strong, I think. And so, J.K. Simmons plays Santa Claus, and he's awesome. Another reason this movie is good is because Santa Claus, for maybe the first time in a movie in a really long time, Santa Claus is a real person.
Kind of.
Yeah. He's more.
But he's magical though.
Yeah, well, sort of. I mean, that's explained like pretty late in the film, kind of. But he's still like, he still is a person. He still has sorrow. He still has woes. He still has a burden, you know. And I think that's a big key element to this movie is that he has a burden.
Oh, you don't think Bill Hader had a burden? We'll get to that.
He did not. Yeah, he wasn't doing enough yoga, dude. But and so that is what I really, really like about Klaus. The animation style, again, we mentioned it. It's beautiful.
I love the animation
Holy
in this.
shit,
That's
it's
the thing that I really like. The story is good, but there are things that I think are just fucking way too wild, like their choice of music.
There's some stuff in this movie that I agree is a little bit too wacky. I think the villains. That's even too wacky for a kid's movie at this point, because the villains just are that is my big problem is that the villains have very little motivation. Their only motivation is that they just want to be able to hate each other, and because Santa Claus is telling
Spreading
kids
joy.
that they have to be nice and they have to be good. Suddenly, this town that was at one point desolate is suddenly kind of taking a turn for the extremely positive.
Right. Kids are learning to read and shit.
Yeah, kids
can't have that.
Yeah,
this is typical. That's typical conservatism, trying to stop people from going to school.
Yeah, hell yeah. And so, like, as you see this town sort of develop into something something completely different from what it is at the beginning of the movie, it makes sense.
It's funny because this is a movie. This is a communist movie. Actually, it's about the introduction of socialism
Yeah.
into the youth of a broken city.
Which is great because it's on Netflix, which is a capitalist machine, baby.
Absolutely.
That's real good stuff. But Netflix almost isn't capitalist at this point because they give people so much artistic freedom that they might not be capitalist. Now I don't know.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, and so the more this movie goes on, the more you're gonna notice just like little things about each of the characters. Like, and that is what is so surprising about this kids movie is that all three of the main characters are really well formed. They're really three-dimensional. The mailman is, he's sort of like, he almost starts off as like a David Spade type, like Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, that's where you were going with that.
or Dickie Roberts. Depends on which route you want to go. Sort of like this overprivileged fuckface manipulative asshole. But there is actual reason for him to change the way that he is,
Sure.
and to change his motivation. And I think that's actually a pretty great way to write a movie. I was really surprised by this movie. I walked in expecting to hate this, though, to be fair. And I mean, maybe not expecting, because I don't like to go into movies like with an expectation, but cartoons are usually bad.
Finally, you're on my side with this fucking bullshit children entertainment.
Yeah, cartoons are usually bad. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we hit the animated episode in January.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to give shit away.
That's the fucking,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
it's a secret.
It's not we do it every year.
We've done it 6 times, people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like saying it's a secret that we're watching Star Wars in the new year. Of course we fucking are.
I'm going to do a secret screening of that.
Are you really?
I am.
Oh, shit, yeah. Did you have extra tickets or?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's for work.
Oh, okay. Fuck. Anyway, so and that is the big thing, and I love the more they develop into the Klaus character, because that, like, the mailman is great, Rashida Jones is great, the Klaus character, that is the reason to come here. And the more you learn about this character, the more you're like, oh shit, this is a really suddenly relatable character,
right?
Because like Santa Claus has always been like, oh, he's a magic man, he's always happy, nothing can fuck with this guy. But this movie, he's a person who has his ups and his downs. He has his guilt, he has his doubts, and they really play into that. Now the reason I like this movie so much is because that last 10 minutes is fucking awesome. The first hour 20 is fine. It's fine. It's a kids movie. It's fun. It's silly. It's great to look at.
Pretty wacky sometimes.
Pretty wacky. But the last 10 minutes is
kind of funny too, actually.
Yeah,
There's some pretty good jokes in this.
it is.
Actually, I was certainly laughing in this more than anything else we watched this week.
Yeah, absolutely. But then the last 10 minutes gets surprisingly deep and pretty powerful, and I would even say impactful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this movie about Santa Claus is impactful for Chadley.
Yeah, I think so. I do think that it is. I didn't quite cry at this movie, but came close.
Why are you crying so damn loud?
Why are you crying so damn loud? We'll be talking about that when we talk about Noelle. I'll tell you why I'm crying so damn loud. I don't know. I found this movie to be incredibly charming. And honestly, this is going to be one of my favorite Christmas movies now. I think I'll revisit.
You'll watch this one
again?
Yeah,
I think I'll revisit this one because it's so well paced. It's so well laid out.
I'll tell you this. You recommended me watching Arthur Christmas. This kicks the shit out of that, dude.
Oh, it is better than Arthur Christmas, but I also do like Arthur Christmas. That movie is good. Hugh Laurie at his finest, baby. I'll watch anything with Jim Broadbent. Dude? Yeah. Oh, I do love Dr. House, dude. Shit's all on Amazon. I should watch that again. But anyway, so I don't know, Klaus. I think this is a great family movie.
Sure.
And I don't say that very often because I don't think that there's many kids movies that also talk to another demographic, and I think that this movie does that. Maybe like some of your Pixar shit, like Inside Out, that speaks to a lot of demographics.
This did give me like early Pixar vibes, though.
Yeah.
Just from a story, like the animation is obviously its very own thing.
Yeah,
and it is very unique. It is kind of interesting how they used like the 3D rendering on their faces, but nothing else.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to see what this Because this same studio did some other Netflix animated movie. I forget what it was, and I remember being like, "Well, that one's not good, but this one is good." So I'm excited to see what that studio has to offer in the future now that they've sort of figured it out.
Right. It's good that Netflix is giving something like that somewhere
Yeah.
to live. Because
I
there's-
remember.
There's really nowhere to be if you're an animation studio.
Yeah, I remember what the other one was. It was something with John Krasinski where he played a robot. Did you ever see that?
Mm-mm.
He played a robot. It was okay. This one's much better. This one is this movie is
Now I
much
gotta
better.
look up this Johnny K. Robot movie.
Yeah, it came out on Netflix, and it was so much a ripoff of Big Hero 6, but I forget what it was actually called. But Johnny K plays the robot. It's a really
I typed
terrible
in
movie.
Johnny K. Robot movie. Next gen.
Yep, that's the one. There it is. Doesn't he just look like Baymax? Just look at the picture.
It does look like
It's
a
just-
lot like.
Yeah,
It doesn't look.
yeah.
People also search for Big Hero 6 and robots.
And Ratchet and Clank. Perfect. Yeah, but I think that this is such a genuinely enriching movie because, like, you think about some of the kids' movies. Like, let's just say, for instance, I'm gonna say one that I saw recently, like Secret Life of Pets 2. That
Boy, I saw that recently too.
that has one demographic. That has one demographic.
No, wait. I saw Lady and the Tramp.
Lady and the Tramp. That also. Secret Life of Pets 2 has one demographic and it's dumb kids, and that's it.
Right.
And and that's how they're making kids movies these days.
Well,
And
we do the animated episode every year, and there
Yeah.
is a lot of us talking about how who the fuck is this for? Even 5-year-olds wouldn't like this.
yeah, absolutely. And I think Secret Life of Pets 2 is
one of those.
Is one of those. Yeah. Why the fuck
Perfect.
why would even a 5-year-old like this? But it just seems so refreshing to me to see an animated movie that has some, I don't want to say mature themes, but more like
Fleshed out. It's
yeah,
like a real story.
yeah, fleshed out themes that go deeper than what just a 5-year-old can comprehend.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna give this one 4 stars. I really like this
I'll
movie.
give it 3. I think never make those choices in music. Never ever put rap music in a fucking Santa Claus origin movie.
Oh no, I did kind of like that actually.
Never ever do that if you're making a movie.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's talk about Disney.
Hell yeah, dude.
Let's talk about Disney because first of all, I'm pissed.
Oh, are you pissed?
No, I'm really really pissed. So we're gonna talk about Disney.
You
Plus.
still think that Disney Plus is good?
Nope, sure don't. And that's what we're gonna talk about. That's what we're gonna talk about. So Disney Plus. Look, over the last few weeks, when we first did our Disney Plus review, I was sort of defending the legacy content because it's all there. You know, it's all the Disney movies, all the Star Wars movies.
Yes,
all
all
the
those
Marvel
movies that you've seen before and don't need to ever watch again.
And I found that in the last month, I have a harder time finding something to watch on Disney Plus than I do on Netflix. Like, I sit there and I scroll through shit I don't want to watch way more, like, than I would on Netflix. Like, I find that I'm having an easier time finding
Look,
shit
I
to watch
love
on
Toy
Netflix.
Story, but how many fucking times you got to watch that shit?
Yes, exactly. Now, I have still watched some of their legacy shit, but here's the problem, is that Disney has basically said, all right, here's all of it. And I'm like, okay, what else do you guys got left? And they're like, we've got nothing. We've got nothing left. We kept Ice Age off because we're going to drop that at some point, and that's going to be a big deal. But we've got nothing left. And that's really, really apparent when you talk about Noelle. And that is, they released 2 movies at the launch of this thing because they were like, we're making original content. And it's mostly bad TV shows that are fucking unbelievably bad. But they're like, we're going to release 2 movies. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm a film critic, so that's obviously what I give a shit about. Lady and the Tramp, which we already
Historically
reviewed.
bad.
Yeah, which we already reviewed very poorly, and then Noelle. Now I want to talk about something that really, really, really pisses me off about Disney Plus. I went to watch this movie at 7 a.m. this morning. You know, my girlfriend was still asleep.
I got a
And-
text message at 7 a.m. and I'm like,
Yeah, well, because I was 10 minutes in and my leg was off the balcony, dude. And so it was 7 a.m. and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna watch this movie, but I don't want to watch it too loud, you know, so I'm just gonna put on the subtitles. I'm gonna put it at like 5 volume and then turn on the subtitles. Well, I don't know how the fuck to do that on Disney. I know there's a way to do it, but like I was looking where you would look on Netflix. I was going
For
back
subtitles?
for the subtitles. Couldn't find it. So, hey, Disney Plus, you got to fix that. But also, how the fuck does your continue watching option still not work? How? And we've been screaming about this forever, but fucking how does that still not work? Oh my God. Now, thankfully, I had to had to squeeze this bad boy in at 7 a.m., so I didn't have time to stop watching this because this would have been several seatings. And I've heard people defend this movie, and we're going to talk about
Remember when we originally talked about Disney Plus and you were defending it so hard? I'm like, this is the Disney Channel, but somehow they're putting less money into the movies.
Yes.
And you're like, no, I'm sure there'll be some good stuff on here. And there hasn't been.
And
This clearly was made for $7.
And you know what? I'm at a point. I'm at a point here where I'm completely okay with saying, yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong in this case because I just think that Disney.
People have started calling me the always right because I'm never not right.
The problem with Disney Plus at this point is that there's so much potential, but Disney has so much money, and so because Disney isn't making content anymore, they're just showing you their licenses. Like that's all they're doing. You're like, all right, Disney Plus. What do we got for Star Wars? And they're
Disney
just showing you Mandalorian.
They just curate IPs.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
And I swear to God, if I have to have one more conversation with someone where they're like, why don't you like the Mandalorian? I'm going to beat the shit out of them because it's not good. I don't know how else to. I've explained it 50 different times to 50 different people in excruciating detail.
Yeah, well, here's the main point. You can't have boring Helmet Man be every single archetype of all the characters and just him be the main character. He can't be the guy that's really smart, badass, and fucking super wise also.
You have to have more than one character, and he has to say more than 10 words in an episode.
He also can't be a boring Helmet Man.
Yeah, he's a fucking boring Helmet Man. It's Pedro Pascal in a Master Chief cosplay.
I can't think of anything worse, dude.
Take it off. Like if they make season 2, which they will, because this is hugely successful. I'm not even gonna think about it, dude. I'm not even gonna think about it for a second. But also, Kevin Feige says to watch the later Star Wars movies, you have to watch Mandalorian.
No,
you don't? I thought he did say that. Oh, maybe that's the Marvel shit that he said that about.
Yeah, it was Marvel.
Yeah, maybe it was the Marvel shit where he's like, to get the movies.
Unless you need to know about Baby Yoda. That's the only thing I could possibly think of in this show. That is about nothing.
Well, and Baby Yoda in itself is manipulative marketing because they knew they had a bad show and they're like, just put a Baby Yoda in.
Yes, of course.
People just
That's
talk
what
about
happened.
that. Yeah, people are just
the
going to
best interview of all time though is about Werner Herzog when he first saw the Baby Yoda and he cried.
Yeah,
I saw the Baby Yoda and I cried.
Yeah, the best part about the Baby Yoda is that Disney was like, oh no,
I kind of like that it's practical though.
Yeah, that is kind of good. But Disney in like this interview was like, oh no, we didn't know Baby Yoda was going to be so popular, so we didn't make merchandise in time for Christmas. And then like 2 weeks later, they're like, we rushed it through and it's coming in for Christmas. No, you didn't rush it through. It was already fucking made.
Me and Ian watched the 6th episode really high the other night.
Good.
And we were watching this. I'm like, why is it lit like we're in my living room? You know, why is it lit this badly? There's like this part where they're running through a hangar and they're like, it's casting a shadow even though there's no light source behind them. And I'm like, it just looks like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode.
Oh, and there's a boom mic in an episode.
Is there really?
Yeah, there is a boom mic in an episode. That was something I saw on the internet, and people were comparing it to the Game of Thrones Starbucks cup. But that can't be the same thing because the Starbucks thing is marketing, and there's no words on the boom mic. It's just somebody fucked up and 10 people who were.
They didn't mask it out for some reason.
Yeah, and then because that means it had to go through. It had to go through shooting. It had to be directed. You had to have a fucking cinematographer looking at the cameras. You have to have an editor look at the fucking thing a million times and not notice it. I just simply can't understand how that happened.
That happens though. Yeah, it's.
No,
especially in something that they rushed out in 6 months.
Not if you're a company that makes $10 billion a year. This can't happen. Like, look, if this happens in an A24 movie, it's like, oh, okay, it's just reminding me it's a film.
I don't know about that.
This is a $10 billion a year TV or company. You know, it's now officially the most profitable.
Do you
studio
think they
in
had
history.
like good editors and not just like whatever cheap ass non-union people they could find? Don't you think it was just like some shitty kid that rushed it out because they had to get it out in like 5 months for the release of the Disney Plus?
Anyway, we're just pissing people off and putting off the inevitable, and that is talking about Noelle. Man, I've had more people that I'm comfortable with tell me they like this movie.
Well, Anna Kendrick's such a little cutie, so.
No, she's not. Let's talk about
She's
Noelle.
just a little cutie.
Yeah, let's talk about Noelle. So first of all, first thing you're going to notice, like literally the first thing you're going to notice about Noelle is that it's fucking terrible. Like it's the first thing you'll notice. You'll be like 3 minutes and be like, oh, I get it. This movie's bad.
You got that, what's that monocle emoji when you're looking at the...
Yeah, hell yeah.
When you're looking at the screen, you're like, what the fuck am I looking at?
What am I looking at here? Because one of the first things that happens in this movie is that you have a baby CG reindeer fly up to her
that's
window.
the worst thing of all time.
And
I didn't expect there to be so much bad CGI in it. There's so much bad CGI reindeer in this.
It's they're almost on screen at all times. So like at this point. And
Put more money into it,
and
bitches.
the problem with this movie is that it apes other Christmas movies so hard and
Right.
adds nothing.
Well, it adds a very important factor for Disney Plus's fucking business model. Their social justice business models that a woman can be Santa Claus.
Which nobody, I don't think anybody was arguing.
The people that are mad that made this movie are still mad Hillary lost. Yeah. Fucking get over it.
Oh, Mark Lawrence? You mean the director who only directs Hugh Grant movies and for some reason Noelle?
Right. I doubt Mark Lawrence wrote the movie.
Oh no, there's no way he wrote this movie.
I bet he was picking up a page at,
and I bet you he fought to get Hugh Grant the Bill Hader role. I bet he fought for it.
which is a bad
fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I don't know. I think that might have made it better. I don't know. Anyway, so let's talk about what Noelle is actually about. So you have Anna Kendrick, and she plays Nicole. Nope, that's in a different movie.
Noelle, bitch.
Oh yeah, her name's.
Fucking open your ears, idiot.
It's literally the name of the movie, and I forgot her name. That's how fucking forgettable this piece of shit is. So she plays Noelle, and she is Santa Claus's daughter. And then when her dad dies, her brother Nick Kringle becomes new Santa Claus.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like the checks out, like the hierarchy of the whole thing.
Yep, that's the religious order of the Santa Claus family.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it in a bit, but there is a gaping plot hole in this movie that I simply
say gaping on the show.
I simply must talk about gaping. And
family
so
show.
What happens is that when Bill Hader takes over as Santa Claus, he gets too stressed out, and then Anna Kendrick is like Noelle. We'll call her Noelle from here on out.
Okay.
Here on referred to as. So Noelle tells him that he should go on like a weekend vacation to somewhere warm. So he goes to Phoenix, Arizona, I guess.
Because it's cheap to film there.
Yeah. He goes to Phoenix, Arizona. Could go anywhere. Goes to Phoenix, Arizona, and never comes back. Then 5 days before Christmas, everybody's mad at Noelle because she is the one who had asked him to go on a vacation.
It's an extremely sexist film
until suddenly it's not.
Until it's extremely political, where it's like women can do this too, and it's like okay.
I don't think anybody was arguing. Technically, nobody can do this, but
it's Santa Claus.
Yeah, technically nobody can do that. Nobody.
Do you ever watch Tim Allen's The Santa Claus, and you're like, I wish that it wasn't Tim Allen, it was his wife that turned into Santa Claus.
I don't, but I also wouldn't have had a problem if that had happened.
Me neither.
I don't understand because there is a political point here, but I don't understand why.
Because it's Disney.
Yeah. They're just trying to say something. They don't even give a shit if it is actually something. They're just trying to say something.
Disney's only about optics. They don't actually give a shit. It's a fucking mega corporation.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking run by mostly dudes. It's so much so that they had a woman taking
Bob
care of Star
Iger
Wars.
said okay when this was on his table, and they're like, we were gonna launch this with Disney Plus, and Bob Iger was like,
"That's
cool, sounds good."
That's Bob Iger had to watch this movie and be like, "That's the moneymaker right there." And so she has to go down to Phoenix, Arizona. Now, here's the thing. Oh, this is a genre of film that I can't stand when they fuck it up, and it's fish out of water stuff. I can't stand when they fuck it up because they have this plot line that she's got hired this private detective who is like a not real type of person.
Right. He somehow has a very nice house in Phoenix, Arizona, even though he clearly has never done any private investigating.
Yeah. And so what ends up happening is that they go looking for her brother. And that feels like it should be the plot, hey?
Sure.
That really feels like that should be what the movie is about. Well, don't worry about that. They give up on that about 20 minutes in. And then
they find him.
And then yeah, they find him, and then they just fuck around in Phoenix for a while.
Well, yeah, because Anna Kendrick's got to learn that not everything is about candy canes and joy
and Christmas. But the problem is that she doesn't learn that. That is.
I disagree with that.
That is my number one biggest problem with this movie is that the character of Noelle is so incredibly annoying. And I'm gonna make a comparison here, and this is gonna be a wacky comparison, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Her character is like Elf. You know that movie Elf with Will Ferrell?
I've seen Elf with Will Ferrell.
The only problem
When he
is
drinks the 2-liter soda.
yeah, that's a good joke. The problem is that the latter half of that movie has some character development, which this movie dares not even touch. That being said, that's a Favreau movie. Favreau knows what he's doing. Whatever.
Yeah, you just shit on his Mandalorian for 45 minutes earlier.
Oh yeah, I did shit on his Mandalorian. But for the most part, Jon Favreau knows what he's doing. That movie's okay. It's good.
Did you see Lion King, bro?
Well, he's in the system now.
Did you know that they called it live action so that they could get non-union animators to make it and then forced that company out of business?
Yeah, so that they don't have to
pay them. Yeah.
That's absolutely correct. Did you also know that because the internet was so upset about Sonic the Hedgehog that the studio that did the redesign, yeah, they fucking went out of business also. Oh, so it's all linked.
Literally the same studio.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a studio out of Vancouver because they're non-union because they're in Canada.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a real scumbag move, dude. That's been a bad year for them. That's been a real bad year. Yeah. And the thing is, they made 2 very high budget films, one of which is on the top 10 grossing films of all time.
But they didn't pay them.
Yeah, it's so fucked up that the animators that animated one of the top 10 highest grossing films of all time went out of business because of that film. Fuck Disney. This is why I'm at a point now where
no, Disney's good, you fucking morons.
No, I'm now at a point now where I don't even think I want to watch Disney movies for the content anymore. Like for the views, like
so rude.
Like your Star Wars and your Black Widow and your Avengers shit. I don't even want to do it to review it to keep my artistic integrity as a film critic. I don't want it anymore. I don't want to give Disney any more money. I don't want to give them more attention that they deserve, because this last year has been really eye-opening for how bad Disney is.
But like, there's so many people that are still sucking the dick of Disney.
Yeah, because
because they make a lot of money.
Because it's like
fucking bootlickers.
I like
dude.
Disney because in the 80s they made The Little Mermaid. Fuck you, man. Like fuck you.
You're bootlicker. You bootlicker. If you think Disney's good because of fucking Marvel movies, you bootlicker.
Well, and Noelle is a really great example of Disney just not giving a shit.
Something.
Yeah, just not giving a shit anymore because they're like, well, if we put Disney on it, people are going to watch anyways. No, who cares? Who cares at this point? They are not putting any effort in because they know, and I feel that way a lot about. I feel that way about Mandalorian. I feel that way about a lot of the other stuff. I felt that way about Lion King. They're just not putting effort because they know people are going to pay for it because it says Disney on it. And Noelle,
which is like crazy now that they own Fox, and now they're putting like from the creators of Disney movies on the front of Fox titles.
Yeah, that is weird.
What?
Yeah, from the creators of Aladdin. No.
Dude, this movie was made before you acquired them. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, and their name's all over Jojo Rabbit for some reason. Ugh. That isn't actually a good movie, but I think it was done before the Disney acquisition, so I don't feel so bad about that.
Yeah, they almost canceled it a few times.
Yeah, yeah, they tried to. I do know that Bob Iger did not want to release that movie. But anyway, back to Noelle. It's just such an illustration of them putting no effort into it because the second half of the movie's about nothing. And like it feels like it's trying to be about Noelle learning about the sign language and like going to the homeless shelter and all this shit, but that ends up equating to almost nothing for no reason.
Right.
And she's not a different person when she goes back to the North Pole at the end of the movie. This whole movie is like, you have to go down to Phoenix and find Santa, and then you got to come back. She goes down to Phoenix, she finds Santa, and then they come back.
Yeah, and like you were saying about the fish out of water stuff, she just quickly gets money.
Yeah, yeah. She just gets a whole bunch of money, and she's paying people in fucking Christmas decorations, and they're just cool with that for some reason. Like, this movie doesn't even make sense. It's also like, it's so cheaply made. And I have a really good example of how cheaply made this is. There's the scene where they go to the homeless shelter, and there's just like a fucking banner that was clearly just printed off that just says Phoenix Homeless Shelter. And I'm like, holy shit.
I can't believe Disney wasted Bill Hader like that.
Dude, Disney, you're not even fucking trying.
Because Bill Hader is so fucking good.
He is
and
very
you can like tell that he's like trying to do something with the material.
Yeah.
Because he's a maniac. And there's like that scene where he's like fighting with her in the yoga studio. And I'm like, he's good. Yeah, what the fuck is going on here?
And the problem is that I think Kendrick is selectively good. But she's not good in this.
Well, it's because she's trying to be a little cutie.
Also, Shirley MacLaine, what the fuck are you actually doing in this movie? Did you write this? Did you read this and you're like, ooh, head elf? That sounds like my type of
She was just probably
role.
trying to get some of that Disney money.
Yeah, she must have been. At this point, who's not trying to get into the pod, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you're like one of those older actors that you only get cast as like grandmas and stuff, you're like, I'll dip in.
You know what? I actually kind of respect that more because I like the idea of people taking money from Disney. When Disney could have hired somebody cheaper, some no-name fuckface, and Shirley MacLaine rolls up and is like, I'll be in it, but for lots of money.
You're going to have to give me money for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't worry. You're not going to spend it on the CGI reindeers, apparently, that you're going to show every 4 scenes.
Yeah, and the CGI, that is the biggest problem with this movie. is,
Absolutely.
We talked about
Absolutely.
the CGI in Lady and the Tramp. It's way worse here.
This is like...
It's way worse.
When I'm saying this is sub Disney Channel shit, this is what I mean.
Yes.
Like, this looks like they didn't put even a single cent into it.
Yes,
That they got some sort of fucking college animator on an internship to fucking make it, dude.
For free, probably.
Yeah.
Like it honestly looks like maybe the CGI was done for less than $100.
It looks like I was gonna write this in my review, but I was too mad. It looks like a sci-fi channel,
Yes, it
fucking
does.
animal.
But the problem is you watch sci-fi and you're like, okay, I get it because that's sci-fi. This is Disney. I've seen Endgame. I know you can make shit look real.
Yeah, I've seen
know-
that face replacement in Star Wars, dude.
You have the resources.
I've seen that young Johnny Depp in the new Pirates.
And you chose not to use it. You have the resources. You chose not to use it. And I have to wonder fucking why. It makes no sense.
Because it doesn't matter if it's good or not.
I also want you to know, we're going to talk about our ratings in a couple of minutes here, but I want you to know I find this to be way more offensive than Holiday in the Wild. Because at least Holiday in the Wild knows what it is. Noelle,
Sure.
Noelle, on the other hand, truly believes it's a AAA blockbuster movie on a brand new stream. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because they launched it with this fucking thing. They launched the streaming service that they marketed the shit out of with this fucking movie. This was 50% of their original film content when they and it still is. And it still is. 2 months later, we still have no new movies. It's just you know what? Fucking cancel Doolittle. Don't put that in. Just put that here so I don't have to watch it. How about that? Because
I'm not watching Doolittle anymore.
Because I'm at a point now. I'm pretty well ready to cancel Disney Plus.
You should.
I'm pretty well ready to cancel. I want to make sure that if something else comes out on here, we can still review it on the show. But I might see if somebody else I know can front the bill because I don't want to pay for this anymore. I genuinely feel guilty, and I know this probably sounds like such an insane. We're ranting insane people at this point.
Well, yeah, we're at 57 minutes. So.
We're at 57 minutes. But can we just try? I can't believe I have to ask this $10 billion company to just try. To just fucking try.
They don't have to anymore because they own everything.
I know, and they're just showing us the licenses. They're just saying we have this now.
Curators of IP.
They're like, we have X-Men, and it's like, cool. What are you doing with that? They're like, nothing. Rolling it up and being like,
they're like, oh, there's one in the can. You're not seeing
it. Yeah, New Mutants. That's not coming out. That's been delayed. I think 6 times now. It's been delayed over a year and a half. Disney's not letting us see that movie ever, and it's almost a letdown to me too, because there was a point where I felt that Disney was working very hard, and they had to, because they were if you look back in I guess it would be 2000 to 2006 era,
right?
They're having a tough time.
Well, there's no denying that Bob Iger has turned this into the most profitable thing of all time, but also that comes with a cost.
Absolutely, and
of artistic integrity,
and the artistic integrity is completely gone at this point, and it's just too bad. It's just too bad. So Noelle is a half star on the Chadsky scale. So you know what that means, right, guys? Watch Klaus. Here's what you need to do. You need to cancel your Disney Plus. You need to call the Netflix customer service line, and I need you to beg for their forgiveness. You have to beg, be like, I canceled Netflix, I got Disney Plus, I thought it'd be better, I got Disney fatigue in fucking 5 days, and now I tried to watch the original content. I'm pissed. I'm sorry.
There's only so much Quack Squad I could watch.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I would sure love if you guys would take me back. I would sure love to be able to consume The Irishman and Marriage Story. Please,
I'm begging.
I
beg you for film.
I beg you. I need my Netflix back. So go call your local Netflix, beg for forgiveness because it's what needs to be done at this point.
All right, there. Where's that fucking little boy robot?
Hey, Podcast Bot 8000. Hello, Buck.
Oh, hey there, Podcast Bot 8000.
Merry Christmas.
All right.
What can I do for you for Christmas?
I got this dreidel here. Do you want to see if you can spin that? Try and get.
Can't do it. My robot hands don't work. They're claws.
Oh, they are claws.
Can I break the dreidel?
You cannot break it, but how about we do this? If you spin it and you get the Jewish symbol for money, I will give you a $5 bill.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm trying to spin it, Buck. It's not working.
Oh, damn, you can't do it. His little claw hands.
I need the $5. It's for drugs. I need it. On the next episode of Movie Epidemic Podcast, the boys are coming back post-Christmas. We're done with this shit, and you know what that means, right? That means that it's time for the freeway, baby. The freeway begins with a beautiful day in the neighborhood. That's Marielle Heller's Mr. Rogers movie, kind of. We're also going to be watching Noah Baumbach's new Netflix original, Marriage Story, as well as Furious 6.
Wow.
They're going to be talking about
wrapping it up.
Furious 6. And then also, we're going to be watching a horror movie they missed in Spookytober. It's called Ready or Not. It's sort of a horror movie. We'll talk about that.
Kind of.
And I'm not gonna say any more than this, but you guys can expect a large announcement on the next podcast about the new year. Big announcement. Not going to say anything more to that. So tune in next week for episode 271 to hear about all those movies. I'm sure you'll love the Mr. Rogers thing, I guess.
Where can you find us on the internet there, Chadley?
You can find us on Facebook.com/Movie Epidemic. You can go to at Twitter at Movie Epidemic. Hell, just pop on over to movieepidemic.com.
Sure.
All roads lead to Rome. But what we really want to focus on right now is we want you guys to check out the YouTube because we got a brand new TV studio going on here.
Great,
it looks amazing. Please,
this is the best one yet.
Yeah, please check out the YouTube because we work really hard at this, you guys. We work so hard.
You saw how long it takes to set up this fucking thing.
Yeah, I watched him do it. Did no help. Gave absolutely no help. But it did take him about 45 minutes to set up the studio. So yeah, check out the YouTube. But it's all you can find it all on movieepidemic.com. We're also if you're listening
on the feeds.
If you're listening on a commute, we're on Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes, Google Play. We're on fucking everything. We're everywhere that you can possibly find a podcast. Thanks for listening and Merry Christmas, you guys.